So this might actually be the most useful smart module that SONOFF has made so far. At first glance it looks almost identical to the previous Mini-D version. The same compact form factor, the same dry contact relay, and the same flexible power options. But there's one major difference. This version swaps out Matter over Wi-Fi for Zigbee, and depending on your smart home setup, that could either make or break this thing. So let's wire it up and take a proper look. Hi, I'm James and I've been building out my smart home for years, with products from just about every manufacturer out there, figuring out what works and what doesn't. So this is it, the Mini Zigbee D, and it's basically a dry contact smart relay designed to work with low voltage control systems. This is not your standard smart relay for just toggling lights. Instead, this is designed to handle things like garage doors, gates, boilers, access control systems, thermostats, low power DC motors even, and contactor based high power circuits. Basically, if something works with a simple open or closed trigger signal, this thing can probably automate it. Now, one thing that I really like about the Mini-D series in general is how flexible the power input is. You can power it from 100 to 240 volts AC, covering both the US and EU standard mains voltages, or 12 to 48 volt DC, covering pretty much any other scenario like cars, boats and trucks, etc. This makes it much more versatile than a lot of smart relays out there. And because this uses dry contacts with both normally open and normally closed outputs, you're electrically isolated from the load side. And that's a pretty big deal for safety, reliability and compatibility, especially if you're integrating older equipment or systems that absolutely do not want mains voltage injected into them. Now let's talk about the big difference here, Zigbee. The Mini-D I tested before in my car uses Wi-Fi and Matter. Check out that video above here somewhere. And that means that it connects to my Wi-Fi network and could integrate directly into any major smart home platform. But this new version uses Zigbee instead. And for a lot of more serious smart home users, that is a big win. You see, with Zigbee you get lower power consumption, faster response times, less congestion on your Wi-Fi, better mesh networking, and generally reliable local-only communication. And that's especially true if you already run Home Assistant with ZHA or Zigbee to MQTT, or if you have a dedicated SONOFF hub. Especially as their ZB Bridge U hub can still bridge Zigbee devices into any ecosystem via Matter. Then again, so can Home Assistant. There'll be a video coming on that at some point in the near future, so make sure that you are subscribed to see that. So there is a trade-off. The Matter version can connect directly to any smart home out of the box, but it uses a little more power and might be slightly slower to respond. Whereas this one does also require a Zigbee coordinator or hub, but it will only sip power and respond quickly and pass on messages from other Zigbee devices which might be too far from your Zigbee coordinator. So onto my use case. I think where this thing really shines most is in garage doors and boiler control for most people. Those are classic dry contact relay applications. Instead of replacing the whole controller system, you're basically adding a smart trigger alongside your existing hardware. Now, since I have no LF that needs this type of control, I thought I'd take it down to my sisters, who has a garage door that they wanted smart control over, because the old RF clicky fobs were flaky as hell. And I've already fitted a similar relay a while ago to at least allow them to close the door reliably. So this time I'll fit this to the other terminal on their garage door and give them the ability to open it easily too. Now, as I mentioned earlier, you could also use this for gates and alarms, irrigation systems, small DC motors, motorized blinds, HVAC systems, and even in industrial contactors. And because it supports low power DC motors up to 8 watts, there's actually a surprising amount of other applications that you could use this for as well. But there are a couple of things that you should know before you buy one. Firstly, this is not designed for switching your standard AC appliance loads directly. The dry contact side is really intended for signal switching and low voltage applications. And secondly, because this is Zigbee, your experience will depend very heavily on your mesh quality. If you've got bad Zigbee coverage, you will get a slower or less reliable connection. But if you've built up a good and strong Zigbee mesh, then things are usually rock solid and super fast. So overall, I actually think that this Zigbee version makes more sense for more advanced smart home users than the original Matter over Wi-Fi version. Matter over Wi-Fi is great for simplicity, But this new Zigbee version is usually better for local control and scalability and reliability, and keeping your Wi-Fi network from turning into absolute chaos. If you're already invested in Zigbee, then this is probably the version that you want, especially for Home Assistant users. It's pretty compact, flexible, supports AC or DC input, handles dry contact applications properly, and opens up a huge number of automation possibilities. Anyway, that's my look at the new SONOFF Mini Zigbee D. If you'd like to pick one up, the link will be down in the description below as always. Let me know down in the comments what you would use one for. Half the fun with these devices is seeing what other ridiculous automation ideas people come up with. So do let me know yours, either down in the comments or on my Discord. And thank you so much for watching. And as always, remember, home is where the smart is.